Welcome everybody to the Coach Van Show. We got such a great show. No intro tonight. Howie Chaney, Zack Anderson above him. But let's start with Coach Tyler Vann. And Coach Vann, the most important question I got to ask you today: how was that trick or treating last night?
It was rough. Be quite honest with you. I enjoyed it. And I think Cotton enjoyed it. He screamed a lot throughout the entire adventure, but I guess he enjoyed it. I know the main thing is my wife enjoyed it, so we had a good time, and we pray it's the first of many. We're blessed to be able to have the opportunity, so we did enjoy it.
I think I may have wrapped up. She turned 13 this year, but I think she liked everybody seeing her costumes this year because I didn't get any candy brought home to Daddy this year. First time ever, no candy delivered to Dad after trick or treat. So, but we're here to talk about Sylvania football, and up above me is Howie Chaney. Howie, kick us off tonight.
Guys, thanks for joining us. Big week this week with Fife coming to town. Thursday night game, get the word out there tomorrow night. Coach, short week. What changed this week on preparation?
Very similar to Glencoe week. Everything happened really quick, moved everything up a day. Did a walkthrough today. So actually, the walkthrough was a little bit different. We did it against some fronts and stuff that we normally just go on there. But, it was I thought today was a good day. Yesterday was defensively. I thought we've had a pretty good week. Offensively, had one bad day, but I thought we locked in today and had a pretty good one. So I'm really proud of where we're at. We're playing a really good football team, and really got some really good football players, and Coach Benfield does a really good job. So we're going to have to be ready to go. Fife's, I think, going to be another 2A contender again. I think they're going to make a deep run. If not make it, they're my pick to win it, especially if 24 stays healthy. I think they have a really good football team, and they've gotten better and better, and hopefully we've gotten better. And I feel like we have, so we don't have to go to war tomorrow. Be physical. Most physical teams going to win the football game. The team that takes care of it, and I think the team that wins special teams as well. So every phase of the game and taking care of the football is going to come into play tomorrow night. I think it's a really good football team, and we're going to have to play better, cleaner. Let me say that. We played really hard the last 2 weeks. We haven't played clean, but we played really hard. So we'll have to do a good job of playing cleaner football, take away some of the penalties, and I think we're going to be able to stay in the football game and have a chance to win it. So,
Coach, the good thing is the mistakes that you're making is mental mistakes that can be corrected.
Right. Yeah. It's some things we've been shuffling guys at left guard. Both of them hadn't had as many reps. At left guard the last few weeks. He played a lot last week. Aspen's done a good job of we've thrown him in everywhere. He's played from center to tackle to guard. So Aspen's done a really good job when he gets thrown in somewhere of knowing what to do and learning on the fly. We're gonna have MAs and stuff. Stuff's gonna happen, but I thought the guys played hard and overcame them. We just got to do a better job of not having those penalties that run drives. It's rare that I feel like this year that we hurt ourselves more than teams. Now teams are responsible for stopping us, obviously, but we did a lot of stuff just miss assignment wise that hurts us, and I think we've got a little bit better at that. It's the penalties more than the missed assignments, I feel like, over the last few weeks. So we've got to clean the penalties up. I think the last 2 weeks we've had over 27 penalties. That's had to be the most since I've been here, I know. We done a lot of them last week. When you watch from there were some right calls in the game, and it's walking behind the play and late hit here and personal fouls that if it's a personal foul, the word personal is in that for a reason, because you've done something that's hurt your team. And it's a 15-yarder. We had 2 of those last week, 15 yards, and that's a big deal. When you're playing in games against good football teams, field position's a huge part of being able to win the game. People don't think about field position much, but it is a huge part. It plays a huge role in football, even at the high school level. You look at Geraldine and Fife. The entire first half of the Geraldine and Fife game was played in Fife's territory. So When you're backed up on your own side of the field and the opposing team's getting good field position, it's tough, especially when it's two good football teams. So we've got to do a good job of not letting penalties, ending a drive and a kick's okay. But not having, normally if you end a drive and a kick, we can find a way to get a first down or two and we can flip the field. But if we're getting a bunch of penalties, we're behind the chains. Well, it's hard to flip the field in that case. I'm okay with punting it. I hate saying the word punt, but if we've gotten a few first downs and we can punt it and exchange field position and defense go out there and get a stop, then we get the ball right back, hopefully around the 50 or so forth. But we've got to do a good job of that this week.
Coach, you said the same thing last week. I hate to punt, and every time you hollered out punt last Friday night, I kind of snickered a little bit because I'm like, boy, he's hating how to say that word this much.
Yes, and we did it off of a lot of credit goes to Westbrook. They played really hard, and they've gotten a lot better on defense over the course of the season. Coach has done a really good job. We made mistakes and stuff we need to clean up, and they are to contribute to that. They contribute a lot to that, moving the front and stuff, and causing some problems where we just need to stay up front. We didn't on a few plays, and then whether it be a road snap or everybody messes up. We all have mess ups. We just got to clean it up. Hopefully, we got a lot of them out of the way the last 2 weeks. We need to start playing cleaner football this week and then going into the playoffs. And so hopefully we see a difference this week and going forward.
Zach, I'm going to bring you in, my man. You tell us what position you play, what grade you're in, and what number you are.
Number 5. I'm a slot receiver and a strong safety, and I guess a linebacker now. And my name is Zack Anderson.
What grade you in?
Senior.
Good deal. Zach, coming into this week, been a short week. How does that change your preparation?
It doesn't change it at all. We just do whatever coaches go out there and tell us and try to do everything right so we don't get yelled at.
So, well, yeah, that's the name of the game right there. Keep Coach Vann and the coaching staff from yelling at you. As far as being a short week, do you like the short weeks better than you do a regular week?
Yeah, it's really the same to me. The only thing different is that Friday, sometimes we'll have them off. Some days we'll have to come in.
Right. Randy, let me throw it up to you.
Coach, I just got a couple of questions I want to ask you about Westbrook, and one of them's about your opponent. When you look at their game field week 1 to week 9, Coach Smith's done a heck of a job with that football team this year. I thought their defense was as good as you saw the last half of the year.
Yeah, they do. Yeah, you're correct. I was looking up. They played. Seems like they played sacks. They played sacks right before we played sacks. So we had that film on them, and then I was able to get the last 3 that we traded late in the season. You could tell a big difference. Coach Smith does a really good job, and Coach Blanchard does a really good job with the defense. And you saw a lot of improvement on both sides of the football. But I feel like defensively they've done a really good. They're playing more physical than they were. They're flying to the football. They're playing hard. Coach has done a really good job, and Coach has always done a good job. He's going to continue to do a good job. I respect Coach Smith a lot and what he does, and that's why I talk to him and try to learn as much as I can from him, Coach Benefield, and everybody that I reach out to trying to learn something. But Coach Smith's become a good friend, colleague, and I do appreciate him. And he don't have to talk to me. He don't have to, tell me how he does things and why he thinks it's and reasons behind it, but he does, and I do appreciate it. And he's done a really good job with his group.
Coach, going to this week, and playing on a Thursday night, playoffs 8 days away, where you'll play Vinemont to open the year. I got a question from one of the parents, actually a 5 parent. It was, how do you and Coach Benefield both approach this game? I think you both go to win with everything, but is there a different approach, or is it the same as if it's going to be playoff week #1? You know?
I think, man, when me and Coach talk, we both kind of bullcrap each other about who we're not going to play and how we're going to go about it. But we both know at the end of the day, we're way too competitive not to go out with everything we got and with whoever's available. Bottom line is we want to win the football game just as much this week as we're going to want to win it next week, or we wanted to win it week 2. It doesn't matter to us. And, you can get hurt walking to your car and running around outside. You can get hurt at practice. You can get hurt doing whatever. So we have just as big a chance next week of getting hurt as we do this week. So we're playing with everybody we got. We want to win the football game. I can promise you they want to win the football game. And Coach Benefit wants to win the football game. So to answer that, I don't think that Coach is not taking anything. I actually heard that today too. Some rumors going around about who's playing for them, who's not. I told him I don't believe that for a second. He's playing everybody that's available. I'm playing everybody that's available, and that's how it's going to be. We both want to win. We both want to beat each other, and that's how it's going to work. And I promise you, it's about those kids in the locker room. And I promise you, none of our players are going to come in here and ask to not be in the game or coach, we need to rest so-and-so. They want to win more than anybody. So they don't want Coach Vann to be pulling anybody, and I'm not going to.
Coach, ain't it? History will show you when you try to do that kind of stuff or don't go 110%, injuries are more likely to occur than they are with just going out and playing your regular football game.
I agree. We're going to play. That's why I love about it. We're going to play who we can play all the time. Like if you're available, like last week we went into it. Kobe Butchum was not full go. But when Anna said that he was available, he played. Like I'm going to play who's available, and if I think they're going to give us the best chance to win, that's who's going to play at every position. So, and the same goes with teams that's going to leave starters in when they're up a couple scores in the fourth quarter. Same goes there. If I was to do that, I would get guys hurt. I just believe that with all my heart that would happen to me. And then you have teams that'll run the score up on people. That's not. I don't do it because I know that it'll come back on me. And if somebody were to run the score up on me, I don't even think I could do it back a year later if I could. I mean, it's just I feel like that's too big a risk. There's risk you take.
Yeah.
There's risk you don't take. And in this situation, like we're playing to win the football game now. If we were in a situation in the fourth quarter with any team throughout the schedule where we was up 30 or down 30, I promise you would be worried about people not getting hurt. But in a situation like this where we're going into a game, I don't think Coach thinks about it. And I know I don't. And now we want to get out healthy. We both said that. That's the main thing. That at the end of the day, this game doesn't affect our playoff standings for either one of us. We both want a region championship. It don't affect that at all. But we both still want to. Sylvania wants to beat 5, and 5 wants to beat Sylvania.
My reply to the little rumors was I know Coach Benefield pretty well and Coach Vann, and that may be 1 and 2 on the most competitive people I know's category. So I thought it would be. I'm glad you addressed it the way you did. That's really good. No, and that's what everybody would expect both of you to do. Zack Anderson, I think we've had more requests to have you on this year than any player in the last 2 years. So, Zack, I got what? Is it the hair or is it the way you play? What makes you a fan favorite?
I've never really called myself a fan favorite. I just go out there and do me.
Do you ever, last year when you were hurt, I thought it really changed what Coach Vann and Coach Clark could do on the defense. Do you, staying healthy this year, do you feel like you've been able to reach the potential you thought you would have last year?
Oh, yes, sir. Coach Wilson, Coach Vann does a great job coaching us and just teaching us to do stuff the right way. And if you listen, then you'll be a good ball player.
Zack, I know there was talk of different places for you to play on the offense, but, you've kind of been that defensive stopper is what I like to call it. But when you play defense, you look like you have fun.
I do. I do have fun.
Is it something you just put your mindset to, that you're going to go out and be physical every night?
Yes, sir. Be the meanest guy on the field.
Do you take pride in that, Zach?
Yes, sir.
On offense, you've moved the slot, and you've been effective out of the slot. Do you? Is it a different mindset defense the way you play when you come over to offense?
I don't think so. I think just go out there to do your job, and I don't know.
That makes sense, Coach. Last year when we lost Zach, it was early on, and it was a big blow at that time. But one thing about last year and losing Zach, a lot of people got reps, but this year you've stayed relatively healthy on the backside of that defense.
Yeah, we've been lucky, and we're still getting a lot of guys that's rotating in different spots on defense. And, it's tough because you got guys that you feel can help you more in the run game, guys you feel can help you more in the pass game. So you're kind of doing it, trying to rotate guys and also at the same time get those guys better at what they need to get better at. So that you don't have to worry about rotating as much. But I think our guys do a really good job on the back end. They're getting better. We're working on trying to get better because we know we don't have to play some. Hopefully, we don't have to play some spread teams. Hopefully, if we can find a way to win next week, I think the very next team will be a spread. But we got to get through the next two first, obviously. But it's important that we get better on the back end. And I think our guys are wanting to get better. And I thought we played the ball a lot better the other night. We had situations where I thought we could have made better plays on it, but that's going to happen every Friday night. And, we're high school football players. We're going to mess up. But it's about how you respond and get better and through adversity. And I thought our guys have done a really good job of it.
Coach, and I'm going to ask Zach the same question. What makes a good return man? And I think Zach, as a return specialist, when he's in that role, sees the field really well. But there's more to it than that. There's some fearlessness in being able to be a return guy.
Yeah, he sees it and runs. That's what I like about Zach. I've been putting him in the backfield more. He sees the hole, and he does a really good job of just sticking his foot and running through it quick. He don't hesitate much, so I do like that about him. And that's the same over returning. There's not a lot of time that you can jive. The more you dance, the more those guys are getting to you. He does a good job getting his foot down on the ground and running. So really been proud of how he does both, and I think that's important. And you kind of behind the 8 ball and 3A football as far as special teams at times, because there's only so much time in a day. You got guys who play offense and defense, so you can't be real complicated on your return game and all special teams. Really, you kind of got to be simple with it. Get the work that you feel like you need to each week on those things. Like you think back when I was in college. I mean, we had special team meetings, we had special team players, especially the younger guys that could get on the field. That that's what they worked on, and that's what coaches were able to meet about and stuff like that. Well, there's just not enough time in the day sometimes for all that to go in, and especially when guys are doing all three. Like even when I was at Buckhorn and Scottsboro and places like that, when you could have a little bit more time and different guys that don't have to worry about knowing 3 different sides of the football. So, but as far as a return guy goes, I think Zach's done a really good job with the simple return that we have in him. He does a good job sticking his foot and going. And even on punt, we normally have punt safe on because we just want the football back. He'll be the first one to tell you he needs to catch a few more of them and not let them bounce and roll for 35 yards. But, you have punt safe on. We got to do a better job of blocking the gunner. I thought we've done a better job of that. But he does a good job when he thinks he has room of catching it and going. So I've been really proud of him.
Zach, kind of the same question to you, because I think you do it. Well, I'm with Coach, and I think the unsung ability you have maybe is to get 6 or 7 yards sometimes by being kind of a little bit fearless when you catch the ball. Are you trying to – you can't really look down, so explain to just somebody that's not done it before what it's like trying to field a punt and see the defense at the same time?
Jonah, he'll holler at me. He'll yell fair, fair, fair. If there's somebody coming at me, I just call fair catch. And if there's nobody coming, he won't say anything, so I just take it and go. You can't really see because you're looking up.
That you answered my question. When after you catch the ball, you get just a split second. Do you look at the field, or you've already got your cleat in the ground going?
I guess kind of both at the same time.
And it's almost instinctual that people are good at it. I call another high school, and we've had more trouble with the term guys this year in just catching the ball and even fair catching it. So it's a little bit of instinct to you catch it and kind of just go. I mean, do you ever feel like there's times that you look over the field and you think, oh, I should have called fair catch?
I think there might have been one. I can't remember which one it was. I know I've let, like Coach Vann said, I let several go that I probably should have called so that way and save us some yards.
All right, Howie, I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Anderson to you. Zach, thank you. There's a lot of places you could be tonight, and I'm just grateful to have you on here tonight, buddy.
It's good to be here.
Howie, roll with it, bud.
Yeah, Zach, you're touching the ball a little bit more out of the backfield this year. How do you like that?
I love it. It don't matter where they put me. If they ask me to do something, I'll do it.
You play offense and defense. Which one do you like the best?
Probably offense. I think I liked defense a little bit better last year, but I think this year it's just been offense.
Out of all the positions, which position? I know you said offense, but out of the positions that you play, which one do you like the best?
I have to go with slot receiver.
You know, when they hand you the ball off in the backfield there, like Coach Vann said, you put your foot on the ground and you just go north and south, where a lot of people go east and west. And that's why I like watching you run, because you're straight on. You don't dance or nothing. You just go straight on. Is that kind of a instinct? You just like running over people?
No, I think Aiden, he runs over more people than I do. I'll run. If you're coming at me sideways, I'll just make a move and keep going. I'm not as big as I need to be yet.
So we were talking before we went live on the air, and Randy asked the question that I was going to ask you now, as far as the hair that you got hanging out the back of your helmet and everything. Have you been tackled by the hair yet?
No, against Glencoe. I think it was on a rushing touchdown. He went to grab me, and I stiff-armed him, and he grabbed my hair, and I pulled some of it out. And that's the only time anybody's ever grabbed my hair in a game.
Mention the other part. We also asked him if he could have cut some of that hair and donate to Howie and I a little bit, fill in. So
I got to save something, Coach Vann.
I wouldn't bring up Coach Vann, but that you got a chance to make it up later, so I'm going to leave it to that. Go ahead.
Oh my goodness. When you got your hair pulled, I mean, I know it hurt. It had to hurt. Was you ready to get up and start swinging fists?
No, I just scored. I wasn't too worried about it.
There you go. Let your actions take care of itself as far as scoring the touchdown.
Howie, I got a question. You kind of hit it there. Zach, almost all the assistant coaches work with you, because running back, wide receiver, defensive back. How is it? Which coach do you respond to their style the best, or do you like their style the best? And if you say Coach Wilson, I'll understand. But if you don't, I get it too.
I think it's going to be Wilson and Coach Clark. It's Coach Clark. He just gets straight to the point. You do this and you stay there unless we tell you otherwise. And Coach Wilson, he'll talk to you for 30 minutes about one thing. Make sure you get it right.
That's a Tennessee fan. We don't get a lot right, so we got to ensure it.
I heard that.
Got a big game coming up this week against Fife. You got kinfolk on the other side? Had there been a whole lot of talking going on this week?
No, sir. We snap a little bit, and that's about it. We'll tell each other good luck before the game, but it's about all the talking we'll do.
Zach, that's special though. Something when you're older, at least y'all have a memory of, in a big game like this too. I know you're awful young now, and you won't realize it, but has any of your family, like your uncles or your cousins, mentioned anything about it?
I don't think so.
So when you go in to make that tackle on him, are you going to help him up afterwards?
Yeah, I will. I love Logan. He's a good guy.
Right.
Yes.
We're just picking at you, man. You know, it's that's just part of it. You know, I don't know if you ever saw the show or not, but you got some crazy questions coming up a little bit later on. And but Coach Vann, back to the trick or treating real quick. Randy brought something up. How did Coach Wilson do on his trick or treating last night?
We had to stop too many places for him. He was running to the doors and knocking. They got a lot of treats, so it's pumped.
I got a lot to live up to. Coach Vann, I'm going to stop Howie before you start about Tennessee fans again. I do want to hit Fife for just a second, and everybody that's ever seen Fife knows what they do. But as a coach, what makes them so special and 7-time state champion? It's not complicated, but they do what they do very well. Is that correct?
I get it. Randall, there's a bunch of people that you'd be crazy on how many people think they run one play or two plays or one formation, two formations. I wish that was the case. Coach does a really good job. They have a lot in. They do a lot of stuff that you have to prepare for. And there's only so many different ways you can. You get lined up a lot of ways, but there's only so many ways you can be sound and be number wise to this stuff. So it can be complicated on how many fronts you're going to show and how many stunts you're actually able to do to it. Because there's not many run stunts or run blitzes that you really want to be in to a formation like that you feel comfortable with. Because if you guess wrong, it's probably house. Coach does a really good job. He take a guy that's blocking down. You give a certain tech front to it. He's gonna change it. He's gonna block out, block down different. He's gonna pull different guys based off the front you get. He's gonna insert different. One play can be blocked 2 or 3 different ways if he wants it to, based off of what he does. And so all those people out there that say Fife just runs one thing and they're really good at it, they're lying to you. And I think they don't know football. He does a lot. He's very complex in what he does. You just may not be able to see it a lot from the stands. But when you turn the film on and you have to play against it and the different blocking schemes and the different formations that he gives you, there's a lot to it. A lot goes into it. And Coach does a really good job. I'm really impressed with what he does. And obviously, he wins a lot of state championships, but he does a good job of calling the football game. I think he's a really, really great offensive mind and how he sees it, and it don't take him long to fix it. And it's your job to respond in an appropriate amount of time so that it's not 21-0 or 20. He had scored 21 points on his fix before you can get it fixed. So I like the challenge of that. I know Coach Clark, Coach Arnold on the defensive staff really. That's why you coach the game of football, is to be able to chess match back and forth. And sometimes you're in a good front. Sometimes you get warped, And at the end of the day, I think that's what a lot of people see it as simple, because a lot of times they just warp you. They have the ability to just line up, and sometimes it doesn't matter if you're in a good front or not. You just get washed, you get warped, and it doesn't matter what they run. And you can't be in that situation. You have to be able to be physical with them. You have to be able to hold your ground. You have to be able to up front, not get washed, not get drove 3 yards. You got to help your linebackers out, keep guys off your linebackers so they can run for people to feel downhill. There's a lot that goes into it, and Coach does a really good job, and we have to do a good job on the opposite end of making it matter. Meaning, like, it matters what front we're in. It matters what call we're in, because at the end of the day, if you're getting whooped, it doesn't matter. So let's make sure it matters, because that means we're stalemating them and we're doing a good job up front, allowing guys to run free. But yeah, their offense is good and complex. Actually, Randall, just the other day, somebody got brought up about how 5 is simple, and they just do a few things, which is flat out wrong. And I wish they were right. I'm not trying to argue with them. I wish they were right, and that was the case. And I'm sure Coach Benefield loves to hear that, but I've got Coach Benefield's back right here. They do more than just a little. They do a lot. They do the stuff they do, though. They do it well.
Well, Coach, I was going to ask you about another aspect of it too. He, traditionally 10 years ago, if you would have went and watched a wing T football team, everybody had been under the center. He kind of led that revolution of getting that quarterback in a shotgun formation with that wing T. And that does open his playbook up quite a bit with things that he can do from lead blocking and also running the quarterback. You can almost create an extra blocker situation out of those wing backs. So that part of it, to me, the first thing is identifying where the football's going.
Yeah, and I think him and Tony Franklin get along really well. I think he's going to start throwing the ball a lot. That was the first move, was to get in the shotgun. His next move is going to be starting to split a lot of guys out. He's just slowly, like him and Arnold talk about communism. If it's communism, why are you backing your guy up to snap it to him? I think they're slowly getting to the dark side, so to speak. He's just doing it at a slower pace. Arnold just jumped on board, and he just wanted to jump all in and spread. I think Benefield's getting there. It's just taking a little bit of time. I said he started with backing his quarterback up, putting a guy beside him. So Coach Benefield's getting there.
Coach Benefield 2 years ago, I kind of pressed him about having an all-state tight end and only throwing it to him 28 times or something. And he corrected me and said, yeah, I only threw 28 times, but 26 of them was touchdowns, and he thought that was the object. So that's Coach for you. He's efficient. I think a lot of people misunderstand efficient for simple when you look at Fife's offense, because they're just efficient at whatever they do.
Well, they are. When you're whooping people up front, I mean, there's some games I bet the coach will tell you he could probably blindfold himself and go down through there and just pick a play because you're blowing people off the ball so much. So, and being strong, and Coach will tell you he does a really good job in the weight room, and it translates to the field. Coach Benefield's, as much as people talk about his coaching abilities, I think he's really good in the weight room. I was able to go watch him in the weight room for just a day a few years ago. It didn't take long. That's why he's really good at that. And I think he loves that more, coaching football, and it translates to the field. They're strong. They play hard. They play low, and not only is he good at that, he can take it to the field and translate it over to technique. So he's efficient, and a lot of times the efficiency comes from whooping people's tail across from them, and probably backing it up and getting closer to Tony Franklin.
Yeah, that ain't a place to be either. Zach, do you look forward to the physical nature of this game and what's ahead of you? Because one thing I've heard everybody in this week, and I've probably got more text and emails this week about this game, and just people talking about, it's not a we don't like you rivalry. It's almost but it's two good football teams that like to get after people.
I'm looking forward to it. I think there's going to be a lot of good plays. Yeah, I think it'll be really physical.
Howie, why don't you take over? I got goosebumps thinking about this game, but you go ahead.
Yeah, to kind of follow up on what Coach Vann said, if you remember, Randy, there at Media Day, Coach Vann, you'd already left, but somebody asked Coach Benefield about basically running the same play over and over to the right. And he said, no, I'd run it to the left too.
Yeah, he did say that too. Yeah.
So, but Zach, tell me, man, if we get in your, I think you said you had a Lexus. If you get in your Lexus right now, what music is playing on the radio?
It just depends on the mood, I guess. There's a lot of Nickelback. Probably Nickelback. That'd be my guess. That's all I was listening to on the way here.
Good deal. Your favorite food or restaurant you like eating at?
Santa Fe.
You like their steaks?
Yes.
Good deal. We're going to ask you who your favorite teacher is, and depending on who you say, might depend on. Go ahead, Randy.
Aiden got 48 carries after telling Coach he was his favorite teacher. That's all I'm saying.
So, Zach, who's your favorite teacher?
Well, I only have one teacher, and that's Coach Vann. So
There it is.
40 carry week.
Better get ready.
Better get some rest tonight, buddy. So, do you have any pregame rituals that you got to do, or superstitions, or anything like that?
yeah, I don't let nobody tape me, but Coach Clark. I wear the same shoes every Friday.
When did you start that set?
I started this year.
Okay.
Every Friday I wear the same pair of Jordans. That's about it. That and put my headphones on, watch some film, and lay down.
Yeah. Go ahead and say it, Randy.
Rip Van Winkle of football. That's the Sylvania Rams. Every one of them's asleep before the game.
I never sleep.
Oh, just close your eyes and rest.
I don't even close my eyes. I just lay there.
Oh, okay. I think some of your teammates are asleep, and maybe a coach or two.
Oh, yeah. I know Wilson's in here napping.
God, he's hard to be a Tennessee fan. All right, go ahead, Howie.
Yeah, when big games like the Geraldine game and Pisgah game, stadium's full, crowd everywhere. How does it feel coming out of that locker room and running out of that helmet?
It feels good. And I like the environment more than anything. There's nothing like Sylvania, Alabama.
I had someone to ask me. I think it's after the Jamboree game with North Jackson. Somebody texted me and said, "Hey, who's that number 5?" And I told him who you was, and he's like, "Man, he's out there. He's doing a little bit of dancing on the field. I like that." So I know y'all do a little dance sometimes after victories. Who's the best dancer on the team?
I'll say probably Ashton.
How did I know that was coming, Chaney?
Coach Vann's the second.
Well, technically, yeah, Coach Vann is on the team since he's coached by I meant players, but yeah, we got you.
Yeah, it's definitely Ashton.
Good deal. How is it playing with the Coolies, man? That's one of the questions that we've been asking lately because they're so different. They're the same, if that makes any sense.
Mm-hmm.
So how's it like being on the same field with them two guys?
It's awesome because I never have to hit either one of them.
That's the best answer I've heard all year.
I'll tell you. Actually, no. I had to hit Ashton one time. I was doing inside. He went and kicked me. Talking about shoulder hurting for about 10 minutes.
Last question here. You and Jonah Gurley is the two guys back there in the backfield. How is it like playing beside him? I know he's pretty vocal back there.
He's really vocal. He makes sure everybody gets in the right spot. And if I ever do something wrong and start beating myself up, he's always the one over there calming me down. So, yeah, I love playing with him.
Randy, you got any questions?
Yeah, Zach, I don't have favorites, but I have people, I get to watch the film. I don't really get to see the game live as much. But when I flip on the film, I always think of you when I learned to describe players a certain way. If I saw you, I think running the football or making a hit. I think even without your number, I know you are. And I use the first word when I think of your playing is passion. What makes you love football?
I was watching it since I was 4 years old. Played it my whole life. I mean, if you had came to the house when we was kids, that's what we was outside doing, is playing football all day. So I've always loved the game of football.
Do you ever think that you're from a family that's actually kind of football tradition rich? Do you ever sit around and some of the older generation starts telling football stories and you heard that when you was a kid and thought that was neat?
Yeah, I've heard a lot of stories about whenever my dad and his brothers played. So they grew up playing football too.
I won't tell you how old I am that I actually called some of those games, but that's because I am old. So yeah, Coach Vann, I want to ask you a question about Zack real quick as a player. I talked about passion and Zack, but there's a word as a coach I think you would use to describe Zack too, and I think every team needs kind of a attitude towards it. And I feel like Zack's play sometimes brings that attitude. Is Zack one of those guys where makes a big hit, makes a big play, and it just seems like it comes at the right time?
Yeah, they kind of gave us a spark against Hope's Bluff. We were reeling a little bit. I think it's 14-0. We got a big stop. I think we hit him on the hitch, and he took that hitch 65 and ended up getting tackled because he's not fast enough. But no, I'm kidding. Yeah. But it gave us a spark there. It's good to have a senior. I really wish, he was able to play his entire junior year because it sucked for him. It sucked for us last year. I think he's done really good for us, and he's come along a little better and better every week. So we just got to do a good job this week. I think he's going to, and I've been really pleased with how he plays. He plays with a chip on his shoulder. His attitude and stuff reminds me of how I play a little bit with his cockiness and stuff. And maybe sometimes, we need to do a better job of not getting penalties. He knows that. He stood on the sideline a while for one last week, but he does a good job, and I like the way he plays. So I'm excited about this week. Get to see him play against another good football team, and we need this win, and then we need to get ready to go to the playoffs. And he's a senior, and we have 11 seniors on the team. I talked to him this morning. It felt like yesterday I talked to him at the end of summer for a team camp. I told him how fast it was going to go, and it was even faster. Seems like when we sit in that room today and know that your practices are like your regular season's done, your practices for regular season's over. So your senior year practices are completed, and it happened so fast. And I love this group. I love every single guy in this group that's on it. All 11 of them. And I wanted to slow down to enjoy the ride, but it's so hard to. It's hard to enjoy it because of the stress and the work that goes into it from players and from coaches. It's hard to enjoy it while you're doing it, but we're trying. But it happens so fast, and like I said, I love every group we've had, but this group's special to me. Being with them for 3 years. We're finishing up a senior night tomorrow and finishing up another regular season before we start a new season. I'm excited. I'm happy for those 11 guys. I'm happy that they get to experience senior night. I'm happy they stuck it out and played for 3 years. I'm happy they played for me. I'm proud to be their football coach. And so I'm excited for them tomorrow night. I'm excited to watch them play on senior night and hopefully find a way to get a win. I'm a big guy. There wouldn't be nothing better on senior night and to find a way to get a win. So.
Coach, you said it, and we've had them all on here. I've met them all in person. It's a special group that you had this year. All the groups have been special that you've had at Sylvania, but it's just this one's got a special place for me too. Just watching them play has been such an enjoyment. Howie, you know what we got to wrap up with? So here we go. It's on you.
Zach, one more question before we get to the main event or Coach's favorite part of the night. Away from the field, away from football, what do you do when you're not playing football?
I'm either at work or I'm with my wife getting ready to have a kid.
Good deal. Awesome. So we're at Coach Vann's favorite part of the night. Well, after I tell his win percentage, then that's going to be his favorite part of the night. What we do every week is
name this segment. Let's pick against Tennessee and just quit trying to dance around it. Go ahead.
What we do, Zach, is you're considered one of the guest pickers, and we've got 3 games for you and Coach Vann to pick. And right now, Coach Vann's win percentage is at .533. He took a hit last week. He's 8-7 for the season. And last week's picker was our host, Randy Cunningham's, and he didn't do real good either. So they're the guest pickers are 16-11 with a .592 win percentage.
Well, I really stunk it up. So yeah,
I'm winning.
So here we go. First game is going to be Zach. It's going to be Washington against USC.
Washington.
All right, Coach Vann.
I love Lincoln Riley. Huge Lincoln Riley fan. I love the Huskies offense. I wish Alabama would have landed the OC from Washington. I got to go with Washington.
I love Michael Penix. I tell you what, Howie, I won't make a pick, but if you enjoy quarterback play, that's the game of the year.
Should be. All right, our next one, Coach Vann, is going to be Missouri against Georgia.
Where's it at?
Georgia.
Georgia. Missouri's not winning that one.
That was one of the 2 top 25 games of the week, basically. So I thought
you can pick Missouri next week when they play Tennessee.
And the last one is going to be LSU and Bama. Zach?
I'm going to go LSU just because I know he's going to say Bama.
Make it official, Coach Vann.
Alabama. I got Alabama by a field goal late.
LSU by a touchdown.
I'm going to pick Alabama too.
There we go.
Hey, I'll even give you Alabama. As much as I don't like Alabama football, Brian Kelly will make me root for anybody. So there you go.
Yes, me too.
Zach, Coach Vann, appreciate you being on the show. You could have been anywhere but here. Appreciate your time. Like Randy said, you're one of the most anticipated guests that was supposed to be on. And thank you for your time, and good luck tomorrow night.
Thank you.
Randy.
That does it for tonight. I guess next time we talk, Coach Vann.
Zach will probably have a shout out.
Yeah.
Randy, why do you forget us shout outs, man?
I'm getting there.
Okay.
I go to the talking about Vann. Give us a shout out. We'll start.
Give a shout out to Coach Wilson for always being up my tail about doing the little things right. And I'm also going to give a shout out to my wife for dealing with me all the time and having to deal with me going from work to practice and coming home.
I can't argue with that one, Howie.
No.
Coach Vann, where's your shout out tonight?
My wife and my son, God. So my wife, Hannah, my son, God, for what they put up with, especially throughout football season. I'm not hardly ever at home. I'm happy to see my family when I can, especially my son, especially when I walk in, and some nights he's asleep, especially after junior high games or whatever that may be. Late nights, there's a couple nights a week that I don't see him until sometimes he's asleep. So I do appreciate my wife and all she does. I miss them, and that's all the coaches' families. But I have a family up here I'm with too. I miss the one at home a lot. So both of them. So do a shout out for them.
Coach, and I wasn't going to say this, but I'll go ahead and say it. I think when I've been lucky over 32 years to talk to a lot of coaches, and sometimes being coach's wife is the hardest of the two jobs.
Yeah, she deals with a lot. She also she deals with more than I do because she sits in the stands. Say I don't, so I don't have to deal with near as much as she does.
She sits up there with all those play calls.
Oh yeah, she does, and so and she knows I'm calling plays. So she, anyways, it's she does a really good job and sitting up there and saying stuff. And I think I'm not up there, so I couldn't tell you. But if she smarts off, she you probably deserve it. But I need to get her a special spot up top, like in a box or something, where she can't hear anybody. Because my wife's one, like she's like, she'll hold grudges and stuff. Like I let it go. My wife, I get it. She does let it go, but I'm happy that I looked up. She was a daughter. She's a coach's daughter, so she kind of knows how it works and how things go and the life that we're in. So I wouldn't trade it for anything. I love what I do, and I know she loves what she does.
Coach, I couldn't have said that any better. Zach, give a shout out to your wife. Call her by name so we can get her recognized a little bit.
Her name is Hannah.
Hey, Hannah. Oh, well, we all married to Hannah's on that side. Howie, I ain't got nobody who wants me to shout them out. So you got anything?
Yeah, let's shout out Miss Corbin, the cheerleader coach.
Absolutely.
Mr. Roselle, the band director. They're part of Friday nights as well. And shout out to the cheerleaders and all the band members for what they do also to help make Friday nights special like they are.
All right, that'll wrap us up. Coach, when we get back next week, we'll be talking playoffs 1 week at a time for the next 6 weeks.
Hope you're right.
For Howie Chaney, for Coach Vann, for Zack Anderson, good night, God bless, and thank you for joining the Tyler Vann Show.